Stuart Flashman on the phone, environmentalist, land use and elections attorney based in Oakland, California. Hello, Stuart. Good morning. Hello, Stuart?
Yes.
Good morning. How are you? It's Peter.
Good.
Thanks for coming on the show. So
You're welcome.
I went apoplectic. You know how, I know how you feel about the bullet train. We've been talking for a long time, Stuart. And I should say, Stuart is doing a great job trying to legally stop the bullet train. Stuart, when I see now that the latest is this Federal Railroad Administration, which, by the way, should be friendly to the bullet train.
Oh, they have been.
Yeah, they're friendly to the bullet train. Released this report, this analysis that the Times got, that said that it's now the initial stretch is now off by billions and billions and billions of dollars. And then, if I may, they also said there are far-reaching management problems, significant delays in environmental planning, lags in processing invoices, failures to acquire needed property. If this was in the private sector, that would mean let's shut this down and figure out what's going on here, replace people, whatever. And what I love is
the wholesale firings.
Big firings. Accountability would be nuts. What I love is then we get the answers for what's going on, and we get to hear, oh, no, it's really not that bad, from all the people who are the cause of this. Yeah. It's amazing to me. And let me keep going for one more minute. They also say now that the guy Morales, who's part of the deal, the high-speed rail, said, oh, no, these are just projections. They're off. Oh, yeah, we're going to listen to you. They could lose $220 million in one of their federal grants, okay? And we also talked about this insane number that's never been hit of $3.2 million they have to do a day in construction. The same people who can't do invoices are telling us that's not going to be a problem, right? The audit report also found out that they lack consistent management, which is these people. And then Jerry Brown has repeatedly, and this is the one that gets me, he has repeatedly vetoed a bill with bipartisan support that would have increased oversight, because why wouldn't you want oversight on this thing? And a January joint committee rejected a proposal to ask the California state auditor to examine the project. At that point, I want to swallow my tongue. You got an out-of-control project, and the governor says, yeah, we don't have to give it more scrutiny. I don't understand.
No, it's not we don't have to. We don't want to.
We don't want to. Okay, can you explain, somebody's getting rich from this that we can't follow the money. Something's going on here, because I've never seen.
Well, I don't know whether it's somebody getting rich, but I do know that there are political forces at work here, and those political forces are fat and happy. And those political forces are the various contractors and the unions that are involved in this construction.
But they're going to be off by how can you do a bond, Stuart, and say to a judge, they lied? We bought a chicken, and they're giving us a duck. It just doesn't even relate to what we voted on.
It's even worse than that, because, in fact, I don't know if I've talked to you since this happened, but we've now filed yet another lawsuit.
And
this is about something the legislature did this last legislative session. We talked about it, I think, in the middle of the session when it looked like maybe they weren't going to go ahead with it, but they did. And it basically, you're saying, well, how can you call it a chicken when it's a duck? Well, how can you call it suitable and ready for high-speed train operation when it absolutely will not be?
Okay, so I would think you say those two things to a judge, and he says, bangs the gavel and says, done. Stop everything.
We hope so. That's what we're planning. We're planning to bring this before a judge. And I don't know if it'll be the same judge we've had before, but we're hoping to bring it for a judge in Sacramento. And I've told the Attorney General's office, who's handling it again for the High-Speed Rail Authority, I said, we want to get this done quickly. We think this is a very simple, straightforward legal issue, and let's get it resolved in one way or the other.
Boy, I hope to God, but something's going on here. When something is this wrong, when the dates are so far off, when you know that the management is horrible, horrific, high turnover, cumbersome computer systems, poor record keeping. I mean, this is insanity. And they're just burning.
I have to say that it's not all that uncommon from what I've heard. There's other parts of California's government that are about the same.
But they burned through but they burned through $2.2 billion or $3 billion already, and we got nothing to show for it.
We got some pictures of some things going across the river.
So,
some big I don't know what they call them, caissons maybe.
Yeah, that looks like they're going to build. So how does a judge sit there, Stuart, and go, Well, you've misrepresented everything. Your dates are off. Your money's off. Your record keeping is off. Why should I believe you from here on in? Because when you talk to guys who are that far off, and then you ask them what now, and then you're going to believe, it's like the David Zucker in Naked Gun. I know I'm lying, but hear me out. Is the line. These guys have gotten everything wrong so far, but burning through money. It was almost a bait and switch, if not a bait and switch, on the bond issue, which I was hoping you'd get shut down that way. How can a judge not finally see this and say this is a business? You're just taking the taxpayers for a ride.
Well, the problem is that, and actually, in fact, the lawsuit that we filed is under a section of the law that basically says that you can shut down an illegal expenditure or a wasteful expenditure of public funds. And the previous lawsuit that we fought for 4 or 5 years was on that same principle, that what they're doing here is wasting public funds. But the standard for showing it's wasteful is a really difficult standard. It bends over backward to let things go. And you have to just show that this is something that's being done that has no possible use whatsoever. And that's the only way you can say that it's wasteful.
Boy, so you're backed into a corner. So again, give me the through line for this lawsuit that you think will shut it down. What's your theory?
So the theory is they promised the voters, and it's right there in the ballot measure. They promised the voter that when they finish constructing a segment, it will be suitable and ready for high-speed train operation. That's what they promised.
But we know it's blended rail. We know that's already a lie.
Well, there's two things, and so they've approved. And so what the legislature did was the legislature says, oh, well, suitable and ready for high-speed train operation means, and they said, oh, we're clarifying that it means at some future time it will be suitable and ready for high-speed train operation after we've spent some more money and done some more work.
Boy.
Now, I don't see how you can possibly say to anyone with a straight face that when the voters read suitable and ready for high-speed train operation, they thought it meant, 15 years down the road maybe.
The other thing, Stuart, and I had somebody on the other day, we were talking about the fact that, so this train now is 7 to 10 years behind schedule. We're looking at autonomous cars. We're looking at new modes of transportation in 10, 15 years.
I mean, the scenery is changing here. And what may have made sense in 1996 may not make sense at all anymore. Now, I know the Chinese are still building railroads and building the high speed, but China is not the same as this country. People don't have anywhere near as many cars in China as they do here, and they have big distances to cross between major cities with not much of in between. And so, it's kind of like with the East Coast. Doing the high-speed rail on the East Coast might make some good sense because you've got these big cities that are stretching along, and getting between, New York and Washington is a lot of people do it, and they want to be able to do it quickly.
What happens, Stuart? We're talking to Stuart Flashman, lawyer, environmental land use and elections attorney based in Oakland, who's been fighting this high-speed rail and doing the good fight. Man, I hope you win it. You need anything, you let us know. If you need listeners to write, wow.
Well, they should write to their legislators and tell their legislators to not let this keep going, and to not approve the extension of the cap and trade to allow the cap and trade to continue to go into high-speed rail. We have another lawsuit on that.
Can you explain to me, because this one makes my head hurt, why, if you know that's this out of control, and we haven't even started the expensive stuff, this was the easy segment. This is not boring through the mountains. They're just bending over, pulling numbers out of their butt because they have no idea what they're doing. That's a complete farce. Why would the governor, who is facing a budget deficit, he announced it the other day, why would a governor not want increased oversight? Why would a governor want not to have auditors looking at this so we can get a real sense of it and have transparency? Why does he want to hide this?
The only way I can explain it is as I was saying before, it's politics. That there are people that there are deals that were made, and there are political forces that needed to be satisfied. And to him, it's more important that those forces be satisfied than that the project be done right.
But it's amazing when you say to any human being, this is a disaster. We need somebody to look at this and see how much of a disaster. No. Leave the disaster alone. We know it's a disaster.
Well, it's kind of like you sweep it under the rug.
But you can't sweep this under the rug. This thing is so...
You need a very big rug.
You need a very big rug. And this thing, we don't even know, Stuart, what this can escalate to. If it's escalated this much, do you know? I mean, you're involved in it. What was the original cost in the bond that we were sold on?
There was supposed to be about $30 billion.
$30 billion. Where is it?
It's now about, well, their estimate now is about $65 billion. Most people that I've talked to who know something about doing rail say that this project, as they're proposing it, is going to be well over $100 billion.
And one of the comments, gosh, I got to find it, where this is the one that really made me swallow my tongue, was that we can afford it. The economy here can afford it. And I'm thinking, what did you just say? I think they used your $100 billion number. Oh, here it is. Proponents of the project, including veteran transportation experts, said that California's massive economy can handle the higher costs, even more than $100 billion, by just increasing sales taxes or making firm commitments for additional future funding. Yeah, I'm going to let my kids worry about it and pay taxes for a train that may not even benefit anyone. How do you rationalize that?
Well, I mean, I think it's fascinating that there have been a couple of times when Republican legislators have said, let's put this back on the ballot and re-vote on it. And the Democrats say, not on my time, you're not going to.
Gosh, it's despicable. This one really makes me sad that it keeps going. I was really hopeful that you got to shut it down last time.
Yeah.
I will get your ducks in a row. Everybody listening, and I know it's a holiday today. They off for a lot of people. But if you're listening, write your legislator, your state legislator. Don't write the governor because he obviously doesn't care. But write your legislator and say this is you're pillaging. You're giving away our...
You're wasting our money.
Yeah, and a lot of our money.
Yeah.
And was I right? They've already spent over $2 billion?
Yep.
And how much land do they still have to purchase, by the way?
They're actually, let me see. It was in this report. They had a listing of how much parcels they had and how much.
Still a lot, right? They still have a lot to go.
Yeah.
And that takes years, which is going to drag them years and years.
Here we go. So they have it. They for this first segment, they needed, and this isn't the whole thing. This is just like a 29-mile segment. They need 1,600 parcels. They have delivered of that first segment 900. So even for that first 29 miles, they don't have all the land they need.
And these guys go in zippity-doo-dah every day. They drive their nice cars in there, and they have meetings, and they talk, and they laugh, and they joke, and they have money, and they take their families out. And the thing is just out of control. If this, like I said, private sector, nobody that's in that building now would be in that building because they'd all be fired.
Yep. Yep.
And yet, these are the guys doing press conferences and telling us why we're wrong and why we shouldn't worry. You know why we shouldn't worry? Because they're still getting a paycheck. That's because I'm not you. I'm loving this. I get to drive. Oh man, if we saw the waste, and isn't the construction entity, because it's so backed up, aren't they charging us a premium too? Because they had to get equipment.
They were stalled for a while, and they are now charging the High Speed Rail Authority. The contractor is charging the High Speed Rail Authority extra for the amount of time that they were sitting and twiddling their thumbs because the High Speed Rail Authority wasn't ready and didn't have the plan to give them to get started. They had stuff sitting there in yards waiting to get started for more than a year.
And they can put whatever price they want on that because these guys don't know what that could cost and mark it up and do whatever and say this is what a giant crane costs.
This is a pretty common thing. They're actually, ironically, the chair of the High Speed Rail Board, who used to be on the BART board, they had the same thing happen with the airport extension in San Francisco.
So
they
went
way over budget. It ended up costing almost twice what the contract said it was going to.
Hey, you want me to pull down my pants and pull out a number for what it's going to cost to bore through the mountains? What do you think? Pick a number.
A number going through the mountains, I would say probably $50 billion.
Yeah, but the whole thing's supposed to end up. The whole thing was supposed to be 30. And the going through the mountains could cost us, like I said, pick a number.
But the thing about it is right now they don't even have any plans to go through the mountains. They're now saying that they changed it around, so the initial operating segment that they're proposing to get started will stop before the mountains. So you won't get this down to L.A. You'll be able to even if they got it all done, you'd be able to go from San Jose to Bakersfield or outside of Bakersfield, and then you get on a bus and go over the mountains.
And you know what they're going to do. Their hope is keep this thing going to get it to there, and then when they hit us with your number, 30, 40, 50 billion to go through the mountains, they're going to say, well, you can't shut us down now. look how far we've come. So, Stuart, good luck. When do you go? We got to run, but when are you going to go in front of the judge?
Well, we're still negotiating on that. I'm hoping in maybe 3 months, but we'll have to see.
Why? Because the judge doesn't feel there's any immediacy to this?
No, it's because the other side is not cooperating.
Oh, you got to get. Wow, what a surprise there, Stuart. Let us know whenever you need the help, and we'll put it out there to the listeners, and hopefully people will respond. And thank you for coming on, and thank you for doing this.
You're welcome.
And Godspeed. I hope it works out, man. It's enough.
Okay.
It's enough already. You take it easy.
Bye-bye.
All right, take care. Stuart Flashman.